And we're live. Okay. Hello, my love bugs, my naysayers. Welcome to this edition of the Naisha B Show. Today we are recapping episode 3 of Gossip Girl, the new reboot of Gossip Girl. On HBO Max. So we're gonna go and get into it because this is a long ass show and there's something going on the whole show, and we need, to get into it. So here we go. Good morning, my followers. Gossip Girl here. So, of course, that's how we starting the episode off because Gossip Girl runs shit. And Julian is basically looking for a new boy toy because it's pretty much come out that she and Obi are no longer together. And in order to keep the brand that she has to have a suitor, preferably one that's considered an heir, meaning he has that bag from generations and generations and generations behind him. So she's dated a couple different guys from around the world, and it has not gone anywhere because she wasn't really feeling them like that. And so her clan, i.e., Monet and Luna, they're not feeling that because Luna is basically like her pseudo stylist, and Monet is her publicist or public relations representative, I think she said. So anyway, Audrey randomly shows up and drags Julian away because she's like, you have to go to the bathroom. And Julian's like, no. And she's like, okay, cool, let's go. Okay. So Audrey reveals to Julian that she slept with Max the night before. And so I realized, I thought that Audrey was part of the clique, the clan, so to speak, but I guess she's not. I guess like Audrey's like a solo friend. Audrey's like a solo friend to Julian, and then Monet and Luna are like a duo friend to Julian, I guess. And so anyway, yeah, Audrey reveals to Julian that her and Max have knocked the boots. And she's like, okay, so what am I supposed to do with this information? And she's like, I don't know. Like, I love Aki. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with Aki. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, well, okay, why the fuck are you telling me this? But okay, So then anyway, surprisingly, Max at the same time is having the same conversation with no, wait. Aki is having the same conversation at the same time with Obi because Aki, we remember from last episode as well, Aki had a little makeout session with Max at the bathhouse when they went to go seduce Mr. Capiro or whatever his name is, Teacher Bay. That's who he's going to be, Teacher Bay. So anyway, Max reveals to Obi, like, it doesn't have anything to do with Audrey. I love her, blah, blah, blah. And Obi's like, I mean, pretty much the same thing like Julian was. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this information? But okay, do you, boo, with hey. So anywho, Zoya shows up at the school, and she's yet again the talk of the town because the stalker like ways of Gossip Girl have put every little thing that she does everywhere she goes on the little, I would say blog, but this Gossip Girl is like an Instagram person, so I guess it's not considered a blog. But anywho, she invites Obi over for dinner because her dad, being the diplomatic, understanding man that he is, he's like, invite the little nigga over so, I can see what he's talking about. So she invites Obi over or whatever. And then Max invites Julian out for a wild night because he like, y'all ain't doing it right. Like, if you trying to get with somebody, you need to hang out with me. Like, quit hanging with these squares. Get with a cool guy. I'm finna get you with somebody. We kicking it tonight. So then Julian's like, that's what's up. We out. So the Constance Billard head mistress calls a meeting with the faculty because the parents have had it up to here with Gossip Girl. They're like, look, we donate money to y'all niggas, and I'm trying to figure out why the kids and the parents keep getting put on blast, and I'm dropping off all of this money to y'all. Like, we're not having that. So one of the parents decides that they're going to take it upon themselves to hire an investigator. Well, an investigator company. There were actually like 4 or 5 actual investigators there, but the investigator's purpose is basically to find out who Gossip Girl is. Because again, the parents have had it up to here with the tea being spilled, and they like, look, we pulling out keeping these constant billers lights on if y'all gonna be rolling like this. And in the meantime, in between time, we gonna find out who been spilling the tea. So now the teachers are like, oh fuck, we're screwed. And one thing I noticed about these fools is like they do a lot of talking about the shit at the school. Like the dude, the male teacher who's Gossip Girl, and I just cannot remember his name or even know his name for the life of me. But he's like, oh, we're screwed. Like at the assembly, Nick, shut up. Like don't act, just be cool. Like you don't know how to just be cool. Like just be cool. Like I understand we are probably shitting bricks right now, but can you just be cool? Like we need to like have a meeting off campus later and discuss this shit. You don't need to be making no comments while we sitting in the damn assembly and they trying to figure out who Gossip Girl is and you talking about some we screwed. Like that's why I ain't got a lot of white friends, but I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna just leave it alone. So anyway, okay. So then not only do they have this conversation in the during the assembly on some low-key shit, then these fools go have a huddle in the teachers' lounge. The teachers' lounge, and y'all just saw these people lined up like they in the damn Secret Service at the assembly. And who is the headmistress? Because where do I know her from? I have seen her in something before, and it just, for the life of me, will not click. Like and I feel like it was something political. Like I feel like she was somewhat in the same capacity as she is on this show, but I just, if y'all know, let me know, because I know I've seen this woman in one or two other things, and she was definitely, was it House of Cards? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look her up. But anyway, y'all let me know who the headmistress, where I know her from. But anyway, so yeah, the teachers, they in the teachers' lounge, basically like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And so they mentioned that there's like a firewall and all this other type of stuff. So yeah, well, maybe we need to pin it on somebody. Maybe we need to just disband. I don't know what the fuck to do. So eventually they end up at Miss Keller's house, but we'll get to that later. So then Max and his two dads. So Max is the one that has two dads. I know I said in the first episode I thought it was Obi that had two dads, but it's actually Max that has two dads. And it makes sense because I mean, okay, so Max has two dads and they're having dinner. And so for my Alphabet Mafia watchers, understand me when I say this. I am not homophobic in the least, okay? Get it how you live. Do what you do. I gives no dams, okay? So when I refer to the LGBTQ and all them other letters community, y'all, in my opinion, are an Alphabet Mafia. Y'all forever adding some other letters to the shit, and I'm gonna just be real with you. I can't keep up with all that. So as far as I'm concerned, y'all the Alphabet Mafia. If I was part of a mafia, I would feel very, very good about that. So please understand, there's no shade in that whatsoever. That's some G shit. Okay. So when I refer to Alphabet Mafia, understand I'm referring to anyone who's under that umbrella of the LGBTQ and all them other letters y'all didn't add it to it because I can't keep up with all that. Okay. So just forgive me. Ain't no shade. It's all love. Okay. So now, when it comes to Max's two dads, there's going to be a lady dad and there's going to be a manly dad, okay? Because typically in relationships, no matter how homosexual they may be, there usually is a more feminine partner and there's usually a more masculine partner. Okay. Again, we doing these disclaimers because it's 2021 and a lot has changed. And I understand that there's a lot of sensitivities and there's a lot of shit that I don't really know because I'm not gay and nor is neither one of any of the people that are in my circle. So I don't have that type of knowledge on the subject as far as the specific terms and everything. So please understand there is no shade, no disrespect in anything I'm saying. I'm just trying to get through this review and we can be on the same page with all these characters. Okay. So Max is having dinner with his two dads that are members of the Alphabet Mafia. And we have the manly dad and we have the lady dad. So the lady dad comes down I'm talking about in drag realness. I'm talking about got shoulder pads with wings on them. Like I'm talking about wig on fleek, laid. I'm like, okay. And so Lady Dad is basically like, this is my outfit. I plan on wearing it to the theater tomorrow on opening night and da da da. And so then the other dad is like, oh, okay, cool. Well, nothing else you really want to wear? And he's like, oh no. And so the lady dad can barely even sit down in the shit because it's just that fabulous and tight. And you know what I'm saying? The shit women be going through, you know what I'm saying? While these girls and shit we be wearing. But anyway, so then fast forward, we find out that manly dad is somewhat for the streets, but we'll get to that later. So then we're with Zoya and her dad, and they have Obi over for spaghetti. So while Max and his dads are over there eating cuisine for dinner, we got Zoya and her dad and Obi eating spaghetti. But I love spaghetti, so as far as I'm concerned, that's cuisine too. You know what I'm saying? But for the sake of the differences of classes, you know what I'm saying, we have to have Max over here with the cook, the chef. I can't remember her name, but bringing them cuisine and shit. We can't fucking pronounce vegan meals and keto diets and shit. And then we go to Zoya house and then they just slapping some spaghetti on the plate. You know what I'm saying? So, they always got to show like Zoya is here. Everyone else is here. Okay. So they're having spaghetti, chilling, and Obi is pretty much having a pretty decent intellectual conversation with Pops, and I'm here for it because I'm like, just because someone may be in their teens or on the younger end of the spectrum, it doesn't mean they can't have a brain. So it was very refreshing to see how, Obi could go to Zoya's home and speak with her father man to man. Of course, he's not actually a man, he's a fucking teenager. But at the end of the day, he actually shows that he's an intellectual being with his own mind, regardless of whatever his parents and his family may have. Because I'm assuming, from what I've heard, like he's like the Prince of New York. So I guess they're like really, 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 really wealthy and really known. And I remember the first episode, he was passing out like sandwiches or something to the workers. So I think that he I don't know. I think that he supports his family, but maybe doesn't necessarily agree with all of their ideals. I'm sure they'll develop that as it goes on. So anyway, Aki and Audrey, they have a hot and heavy scene. And I'm like, now see, this when y'all be reminding us that we're watching HBO Max and not the CW because they're having this hot and heavy scene. And then Audrey hops off of it and then decides to put it in her mouth. And then she goes a little lower than we were all expecting, especially Aki. And then he's like, timeout, flag on the play. I wasn't ready for all that. And then she's like, oh, my bad. You know what I'm saying? I'll go back. And then he's like, give me 50 feet right now, bitch. You done just threw me off. So I don't know exactly where because I don't know nothing about under the bar. Like I gotta stop at the shaft. But we ain't talking about me right now. But anyway, Audrey was getting it in, and Aki was like, hold on. Okay. So anyway, then Julian is out with Max, and they're turning up, and Julian snorts a little coke while she's on the dance floor, and they said it had ketotilamine or some shit in it. And I was like, okay. And so I feel like they didn't really too much go into that aspect of the show on the show this episode, but a part of me, because Max recorded it, so I don't know, a part of me feels like that's gonna come out later about the fact she was snorting coke. But I don't know, maybe not, maybe that's just a normal thing and it was just part of the show, and I don't know. But anyway, so Zoya calls to confront Luna because Luna has started a hashtag that says Zugly. So I guess that's like Zoya ugly, Zugly. Real creative, Luna. So anyway, Zoya calls Luna and is like, I know you started this because she sneaks out of, not really sneaks, but she steps away from dinner with Obi and Pops and is like, I'll be back with y'all in a second. And she calls Luna. And she's like, Luna, I really don't appreciate you starting this hashtag. And so Luna's like, who the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? And Luna's out with Monet. And we find out Monet liking the ladies over here. Monet having a whole full out makeout session with some Asian chick whose name she don't even know. The girl was like, my name is Luna. Was like, not Luna. Monet was like, what are you saying, Luna? I was like, Okay. So we find out that this whole, now I'm not saying that Luna started the hashtag so Zoya would call her, but we find out that when Zoya calls Luna, that Luna is more so trying to recruit Zoya, so to speak. And in my mind, it was kind of like a shared tie type thing. Like, I'm gonna give you a makeover, but not really sharing Ty, because Cher actually genuinely just wanted Ty to live a better life and be able to fit in and look nice and stuff like that. Luna is out for blood. So okay. So anywho, Zoya accepts Luna's offer to basically pull a Cher and give her a makeover and stuff like that. So I guess, honey. So anyway, then we find out that, so also while Julian is at the party with Max, she goes to the restroom and she finds out that she's like having small talk with this chick that she meets in the restroom, and the lady is telling her like, yeah, my guy, she's pretty much giving like information that leads us to believe that whoever she's dating is hiding something. Like, I only see him after this time. I only see him on these days. Typical, like he got a woman or something else going on type shit. And so Julian is like, well, it sounds like he's hiding something. She's like, oh, I don't know, whatever. And so the lady that she's talking to is none other than Beck from back to life after Joe killed her in the fucking basement under a bookstore. So I'm like, look at Beck. I was so excited. And it also made me think about, when the fuck is you coming back on? Because I remember the last season came on the beginning of 2020, because I remember I was sick after my Christmas trip to New York, and I remember I sat on my couch for like a week just trying to recuperate and watching you, and that was like December, January 2020. So it's like, I understand that production and stuff halted because of the pandemic, but y'all needs to come on back. We need to know what Joe and Love putting down. But anyway, so outside of the restroom, Julian sees from a distance that Beck, who we find out on this show, her name is Lola, that Beck is over there canoodling with her daddy. Daddy? I thought you was going to Berlin. That's what you said you was doing at the beginning of the episode. You said you was going to Berlin. So we trying to figure out why you at the same club with your daughter while she trying to drown her sorrows in coke and finding somebody else, and your ass over here with Beck. Like, how did we get here? So in the same moment we find that out, we find out that Max, his dad, because Max, he for the streets, male, women, it don't matter what street it is, he just for the streets. We find out that Max is on this, because I think that the real app is called Grindr, if I'm not mistaken. It's like a app for gay men to hook up. I think it's called Grindr. I think I've heard that from people, Grindr. But on this, I don't think I wrote it down. On the show, they call it Spooker, Spiker. I don't know, but they have some kind of like fictional Grindr type dating app where gay men congregate. And so as Max is on there looking for his conquest for the night, he sees his dad's photo on the website. And I'm just like, ew. Like, that's got to be one of the most horrifying things to experience. First of all, no judgment to dating apps. It's 2021. That's what people do. I tried it for like 2 weeks, like 6 years ago, and I just couldn't do it. It just weirds me out. Again, no judgment to anybody else, but I just don't like dating apps. Like, I just literally, like, I let my cousin make me a Tinder account back in like 2015, 2016. And I was on there literally for like 2 weeks. And I actually met this guy on the app. I didn't meet anybody in person, but I met this guy on the app, and we actually got cool. And it was funny because I know this is not about the video, but sidebar. I remember him telling me like he had a girlfriend, and I'm like, well, why are you on here? And he's like, oh, well, my girl let me bring girls home and so and so. And I'm like, wow. And so we kind of were just talking, and he was actually giving me like different advice, you know what I'm saying? And like, just, we really got cool. But again, like I said, I was on there all of like 2 weeks. And once I deleted the app, I had to delete him too, because I didn't actually speak to anyone outside of the app. Like no one actually got like my phone number and stuff like that. Like it was just straight like app messaging. So it was like, he had to just kind of get thrown away with the whole app. So if you're watching this, homeboy, if you know who you are, you cool. I hope you and your girlfriend still together and y'all safe and everything. But anyway, my point is I'm not here for the shit. So to be on there and then see your parent on there, your parent who actually has given you another parent, meaning that they're like in a relationship and y'all like a family, and then you see your daddy on there. Like, I feel you, Max. That's kind of fucked up. So anyway, this happens at the same time that Julian sees her father in the club with Beck. And so it's just like, wow, this is like not a good Father's Day. So then oh, side note, the uniform. So I was really like confused the first couple episodes because I'm like, they wear uniforms, but I don't understand what's going on here because it doesn't look like they wear uniforms. But then, like, as I've just watched the show and I see all of the different paraphernalia that they have, I'm talking about they got like cardigans and sweaters, and Max had on this fly ass Letterman jacket this episode. It was like color blocked and it had the I was like, see, that type of shit made me wish I went to private school. But I don't wish I went to private school. But if I did go to private school, I would have to go to that private school. Because I'm telling you, and the stuff that Julian wears, like Julian, she's oftentimes kind of laid back, but at the same time, it's fly. Like she'll have like the big jacket or the big cardigan or like the big button down on like the tie. Like in Monet, I do not like that bitch, but I'm sorry, I got to give her the torch of the fashion on this show. Like Monet, every episode, I'm like, bitch, I need that. Like she had a heart-shaped Louis. I was like, bitch, is that a heart-shaped Louis? I need that. And I don't even really like the Louis that has the LV all over it, but it's like I will wear that though. Like a heart, like it was just, I'm like, damn. And then like how she be having like the collar with the little whatever that is right there, I'd be like, yes. Like I don't fuck with you, but I definitely fuck with your closet. So anyway, Julian and Obi, they have an awkward run-in in the hallway because Julian's like, something happened and, I really need to talk to someone that I trust. And Obi was almost here for it, but then he spots Zoya down the hallway and he's like, gotta go, bitch. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what that was. And so then, like I said, Lola Morgan, also known as Beck. It was so funny because it really gave me You, as in the show You. And if you don't watch You, I strongly suggest you get on Netflix. It used to be a Lifetime show. I watched You when it first came on, and it was on Lifetime. So the first season was on Lifetime. And then I guess Lifetime sold it to Netflix. And so when the second season premiered, it premiered on Netflix. And so the first and the second seasons are on Netflix. And the third season that's coming out, that will be on Netflix as well. So if you want to catch up on a great show that's gonna have you like, whoa, I would definitely suggest watching You. And the lady in this show, Lola, she's a main character from the first season. So anyway, on this show, her name is Lola Morgan, and she's a singer-songwriter because Julian has stalked her and found that out. And like I said, it gave me real You vibes because the way that Julian was kind of like following Lola around and stuff, it made me think of Joe. And Joe is like the main antagonist in You. And it's like, I want to say protagonist, but he's crazy as hell. So yeah, he's the antagonist in the You series. So anyway, Julian decides that she's gonna like do basically what teenagers on this show do, obviously, and set a motherfucker up, meaning her dad. So more on that later. So then Max said that he spoke with his dad and the dad doesn't know why it's on there. So I was kind of confused because I didn't know which dad he meant. At first I thought he meant like the lady dad. But then I was like, I feel like the lady dad would probably have been like mad, but then he wasn't. And then I was like, maybe he was talking about like the manly dad, because maybe he was just saying like the manly dad was like, I don't know what the fuck was going on, and just left it at that. So that's what I'm gonna say happened, because I ain't feel like rewinding it. And yeah. So anyway, oh yeah, and their lockers. I'm like, how are the students' lockers looking like this. I'm talking about just immaculate, like fucking brick walls type shit. And then the teachers' lockers look like actual high school kids' lockers. I'm like, damn, the teachers couldn't get the same type of locker that the students got. Like, damn, y'all really want the teachers to feel less than these students, obviously. Okay. So Luna and Zoya are having a moment in the library where Luna decides that she's again pulling this Cher. She's Cher and Zoya is Ty. And so she's basically giving her all of these random ass tips that I would never follow. And all of these things that she has to do and all of these, just all of this shit that is just absurd in my humble opinion. And basically in hopes to make her fit in, make her, you know, part of the what's the name of the school? Constance Billard type vibe, I guess. And so Max recruits Aki to stalk his dad on the dating app because he's like, you know, I need to know what's going on. I need to get to the bottom of this, but I can't sext my dad, so I need you to do it. And so then Aki's like, well, damn, I don't want to sext your dad either. And then he's like, you know, but it's all good because if you don't, then I'm gonna tell people, you know, about our moment. He's like, well, fuck, that's not cool. But so, you know, then he does it. So yeah, so back to Julian. She calls Max to tell him, like, hey, I need another ticket tonight, which is part of the setup with Beck. So anyway, Max is at home getting ready, and his lady dad comes down, and he's in like a suit with his hair pulled back in a ponytail. And like I told y'all earlier, his outfit that he had planned was, you know, very fabulous, child. Shoulder pads with that, like I'm talking about, it was just like, whoa. But he tells Max that daddy dad, the masculine dad, he would prefer for the lady dad to wear, you know, something more conservative, as in this three-piece suit he had on. And Max is like, no, you taught me how to be my authentic self, and so I need you to be your authentic self. So you go and you change into what it is you really want to wear, because we don't care what daddy dad is talking about. And so he's like, oh, you're right, okay. So that's what happens. So then Zoya and Obi meet outside the theater. We find out Julian has invited her dad to the theater. So I'm like, oh, I see the setup coming together. Okay. And then we see Max and Aki. They meet up, and Max confiscates Aki's phone because he needs to keep up with what his dad is saying. And oh, also, I forgot to mention that Aki is not posing as Aki. As he speaks to Max's dad, he's not actually speaking to him as though he's Aki. He's speaking to them as though he's Mr. Is it Capero, the gay teacher that Max has the thing with. He's pretty much using his photo as like that's who his dad is talking to. Okay, and so okay, so Julian ends up sitting behind Zoya and Obi because for some reason I didn't really understand, but for some reason Max switches tickets with Julian. And so now Julian, so okay. Julian had her dad believing that this was a daddy-daughter date. Julian had Beck, i.e. Lola, also known as Lola, had her believing that this was her dad's way of going public with their relationship. Because as I've said, he's basically kept her in the shadows their entire relationship. Julian ends up sitting behind Zoya and Obi while Beck and her dad sit together. And then they see Zoya from across the room, and Zoya waves at them very shadily, and they realize, oh shit, we've been set up. Beck realizes, oh shit, you really didn't invite me to this play, did you? Because Pops definitely played the shit off. Like when Beck showed up and was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I can't believe you invited me. You want to go public at the public? Wow. And he's like, yeah, that's what happened. But that's really not what happened. He just went with the flow because, you know, that's what guys do when they're backed into a corner. So everyone's kind of realizing the spot has been blown up. So So after that, Pops run up on, well, not run, but he confronts Julian like, yo, like the fuck is all that about? She's like, well, I mean, you've been lying to me all this time. What do you mean what it is about? You said you was supposed to be in Berlin and you at this bitch house, and it looked like you done bought her the damn house. So like I'm confused. Like, and so then Lola comes over and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And Julian's like, bitch, you ain't got nothing to do with this. I ain't mad at you. Get out my face. So anyway, then we're back at the teachers and they're back at Miss Keller's house. And it's like I literally don't know any teacher's name besides Miss Keller. And I don't know if it's just me or not, but I literally just don't know. So follow me here. The gay teacher that Max has a little thing with, he's Teacher Bay. Okay. Then we have Miss Keller. That's the white chick with the blonde wig bob. Well, I mean, I don't think it's a wig, but the blonde bob. Okay. Then we have, we're gonna call him white man teacher because that's who he is. The white man teacher. He's the gossip girl man in the group. Then we have the Indian lady. And then we meet her husband this episode. So they're at Keller's house discussing, wow, what are we going to do? The Gossip Girl spot is being blown up, but we need Gossip Girl because Gossip Girl is really, helping us and so on and so forth. And so then the Indian teacher, she's like, well, I mean, maybe we should just leave it alone because her husband who was there, he used to teach at Constance as well, but he had knowledge of one of the wealthy parents expensing escorts. So therefore he got fired because we can't have you blowing up the spot for one of our donors and shit. So you don't have to go play. So he don't work there no more. And so then we soon find out that his wife doesn't either, because what happens is white man teacher, Miss Keller, and the other lady, I can't think of her name either. The other lady teacher, they basically call after the meeting at Miss Keller's house. They call the Indian teacher and they're like, hey, they give her some random tip on the somebody at her husband's former school. So the one I told you he got fired. So she leaked some Gossip Girl information that they fed her about that particular administrator, whatever like that. And then they turned the firewall off. And the firewall, I'm not techie like that. I think that keeps shit blocked some kind of way. So they turned the firewall off so that when the Secret Service people are checking, the Gossip Girl content and stuff like that, it traced back to her. So after she dropped that tip, and she dropped it because, of course, like I said, her husband had been fired from that school. So it was basically, retaliation type thing. So she does that, but then she's pinned as being Gossip Girl. Because the thing is, all of the teachers are Gossip Girl. They all have the app. They all have the login information. They all have the opportunity to post. But they typically do it during school hours at the school because, one, they're at school, so it looks like they're students. And then two, like I said, white man teacher, he has developed a firewall. So it's not easily detectable for them to be the culprits of disseminating that information. So when they set up Miss Indian teacher, they turned the firewall off. So it was very easy to pinpoint her as the culprit of Gossip Girl. Are we here? Okay. So she take it like a G though. She like, what I'm saying? I held it down. You know what I'm saying? They tried to take me down, but I represented. Shout out to Cleo. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, I didn't mention any of y'all names. It's all good. And she packing up her stuff in her little box. I do her walk of shame. And I'm like, damn, her or her husband don't have no job no more. That's fucked up. So then Miss Keller and white man teacher trying to pretend like they give a fuck. And, oh, we're so sad and we can't believe we did that. And but it's like, again, that's why I ain't got a lot of white friends. But anyway, so anywho, okay, so then they're outside of the play 4 hours later. Zoya is starving because Luna has told her that she's not allowed to eat in public. And that, among all those other rules, so she done snuck off trying to eat away from Obi, away from everybody else. She ends up going off on one of Max's dads and some other random guy about to play. And then some random black guy show up and like they go have a conversation. So then her and Obi meet outside after that, and she basically calls Obi out on his shit. It's like I said, Obi, you're a noble fuck nigga. You're nice and cool and shit, but you have ways about yourself that you don't seem to recognize. And Zoya basically told him, like, yeah, I understand you don't like who Zoya became, but you don't seem to understand how you contributed to that. And I was like, okay. Tell him again, tell him again. And so then Julian happens to walk by, because Julian always happens to walk by. And Obi's like, hey, Jules, can we have a convo, whatever? And she's like, no, thanks. But then he's like, no, for real, let's talk. And so then they talk. And he basically, somewhat apologizes for his contribution to the shit. And they basically have like a clean break. And I appreciate that, because one, teenagers don't really do that. And really, adults don't really do shit like that. So I really appreciate seeing them, just close off that part of their lives to each other. Julian giving, because she already gave Zoya her blessing. So her giving Obi her blessing, being real about it, and it also shows how, like Obi said, they really were pretty much over way before then. But, for the sake of her following and her brand, she just kept him. And I feel like she did that because of her brand. I don't feel like it's because she loves Obi so much, because I feel like if she did, none of these like conversations she's had with him or Zoya, or how she even has handled it. Because I mean, it's not like she's handled it the best, but not a lot of people whose half sister they just met came into town and took their man, not deliberately, because I'm not saying Zoya sought out to take Obi, but y'all know what I'm saying. They would not have handled it like this. So the fact that she has, I really commend Julian, and it shows how mature that she actually is. And I hope that that she gets better and not worse. But I know hanging with people like her friends could probably, that could be hard. So anyway, they have a clean break, and she's like, I know why you like Zoya. She's a great person. She sees me for who I really am, so I can understand, why you would be so enamored with her. She is a great person. So I was like, that's what's up. So then Max, because he pretty much, so him, just like Julian was setting up her dad, Max was setting up his two dads either. And so then here we come, it's the two dads and the teacher. Now, Mr. Capero, or whatever his name is, Teacher Bay, he don't even know what the hell going on, because they've just been using his likeness basically. But he didn't know that. And so now it's like Max is pretending like the Teacher Bay really is involved, and yeah, he been talking to him online, and you messed up, and da da da. And so Lady Dad and Daddy Dad is like, they end up having a fallout, because Daddy Dad, is like, damn, you basically not the man that I fell in love with. And then Lady Dad is like, but this is who I really am, and you made it seem like you really love me for who I am, and I can be who I really am, but you don't really like that. You really want more of a masculine man, and blah 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 blah. So you're just gonna go off and do what you want to do, da da da. And then Daddy Dad is like, but I love you, I want to be with you. And so I'm just like, wow. So for all of those who feel like going from a heterosexual relationship to a homosexual relationship is going to free you of some bullshit, think again. So anyway, the dad storm off, and the lady dad storms off, and then the manly dad is like, Max, how could you do that to me? And then Max is like, well, Dad, how can you do that to us? We're a family, and this is what you're doing. And so then Daddy Dad just pretty much leaves, and so then Max is feeling bad, because he's like, oh my gosh, I thought they were just gonna talk and move on with life, but now it's really some shit. And I'm like, yeah, see, these are reminders that these are teenagers on this show, because adults would have known that already. But again, we do have to remind ourselves that even though they are doing some grown folk shit, these people are still considered teenagers, and they're going to operate from a teen mindset, because there is no way an adult would have thought that you can bring these three adult people in this situation, put them on blast like that, and think it's going to end well with just a sweet conversation. Really, Max? So anyway, Max ends up getting like plastered because he's, upset. He's wreaked havoc in his family life, and he's a drug addict anyway. Well, he been doing drugs ever since we met him. So it's not like we were really shocked. So he pulling them back, whatever. So eventually he and Teacher Bay have a run in because he's outside feeling sorry for himself. And Teacher Bay is like, you can cry on my shoulder. So we find out that Max ends up staying on Teacher Bay's couch that evening. On the couch though. On the couch. Because it's not graduation yet. Remember, we gotta wait till graduation for some shit to really pop off, okay? So then oh, okay. So then moving forward, Obi takes Zoya back home, and they share like a little kissy kiss outside. And who do we see on the inside of the building taking pictures? The motherfucking doorman. Doorman. Name that movie. Y'all know it. Knocked Up. Doorman. Shout out to Leslie Mann. That is a funny ass movie. I might watch that this week sometime. Like, that's one of my favorite movies. If y'all have never seen Knocked Up, that movie's funny as hell. So yeah, when I think of Zoya's doorman, like, I'm just straight hearing Leslie Mann in my voice. Doorman, when he went with them in the club and shit. He's like, we can't have a bunch of you old, she pregnant. We can't have a bunch of pregnant old bitches running around the club. Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch that. I have it on DVD. I don't know if y'all still have DVDs, but I do. So anyway, Julie and her dad have another touching moment. They always come back and have these father-daughter moments, and it's okay. It's all good. I love you. I understand why you had me fucked up, Julian. I understand why you did this, and it's my fault, and I love it. And I was like, damn, he made me wish I had a white daddy. Like, he just be so, like, it's like he do things, that aren't really great, but then it's like he always like comes back and makes it better. And I'm like, damn, is that what T and Tamira and them be experiencing? Maybe I should have had a white daddy, but I don't really want to be white. But anyway, so we also see that so they have a touching moment, and Pops reveals, like, you the woman in my life. You've been a woman in my life, basically since your mama left us and had Zoya and shit. And I just didn't want to confuse that. I just didn't want my dating life to affect our relationship. So I've always kept that private from you. And I didn't realize, I forgot that you had grown up and you could handle these type of things. And I was like, shout out to parent-child communication. I'm here for that. So anyway, so said Max spent the night with Teacher Bay, and Audrey and Aki, they apologize and move on. So we think. And so I talked about how Keller and Teacher Man set up the teacher, and okay. And so basically we end off with so the teachers, i.e. Miss Keller and Teacher Man, they have expanded the Gossip Girl network. So now they have contacts at other, I'm assuming, private schools. Maybe the schools aren't private, I don't know. But they have contacts at other schools in New York on the Upper East Side that Gossip Girl is going to be also throwing under the bus. So we see that Miss Keller and Teacher Man, they have expanded Gossip Girl's network, and now the target is no longer on their back, or so they think. And we're going to see, because does that mean we're going to get like a whole slew of new characters and all of their tea and shit because as you can see, this review is damn near 45 minutes, and I'm trying to keep up with all the characters I have so far. So I really hope they don't be adding a whole bunch of other people, because goddamn. So anyway, and then Monet and Luna basically end continuing their feud and their beef and their crusade against Zoya and taking her down, because if Julian's brand is not up, then their brand is not up. So they're like, we got to get this buffalo hoe up out of here. And that's what they said, not me. That's what they said. So Luna gives Monet some whispered tea at the end, and Monet's like it's some really big shit, and we find out because they actually had a preview for next week's episode today. I was like, okay, so we find out on the preview that next week is Zoya's birthday and shit's gonna go down, but we don't know what that is. So with that being said, y'all, it's been real. I hope y'all enjoyed this review. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that great shit. It has been real. As always, toodles.